Hey, what's up? It's Tony B with another Zoo Day here in the studio. We got Noah and Ralph, the female turkey vulture. Probably one of the more disgusting animals you have at the zoo. And I say that, I'm sorry, yes, we're talking about you. I say that with nothing but love. Tell us about some of the disgusting features you can see on the beak. In fact, let's start with the beak, with the no feathers and obviously the hole in the nose.
Okay. This turkey vulture is a species that we have right here in Indiana, and they're very, very important here in Indiana because their diet consists of carrion or dead animals. So dead animal carcasses, things like that. So they're very important in actually cleaning those things up so they don't cause other disease problems in the environment and things like that. So they have some perfect adaptations that allow them to do that, starting on their head. Most vultures, especially the turkey vulture, has a bald head. They don't have too many feathers on there because with the dead animals that they like to eat, most of the things they eat are on the inside of the animal. So they typically will stick their heads on the inside of the animal and they're eating around lots of body fluids and all sorts of different things inside of those dead animals. And as you can imagine, if their head was covered in feathers, their feathers would get caked with all of those things. And it could cause some infection to the bird or other problems for the bird. But since turkey vultures do not have any feathers on their head, the parts of the inside of the animal that gets on their head while they're feeding, all they need to do, all the turkey vulture needs to do is then sit in the sun, and the sun will dry up and bake off and all that stuff from inside of the animal, and it will just flake right off, and then she won't have any problems with that. Then also goes back to her nostrils. You can actually see right through her nostrils at the top part of her head, right behind her white beak. That hole that's straight through her head, that's her nostrils. And once again, if she had closed nostrils like we do, or other birds of prey does, right behind their beak, she would get it caked with the inside of the animals, the fluids and things like that, and she could not breathe very well. So what turkey vultures have, they can actually just blow really hard and blow all that stuff out.
Just bravo.
And then they're just, I mean, they're perfectly well adapted for what they do.
Ladies and gentlemen, the most perfectly well-intentioned, disgusting animal. Aren't you, Ralph? And I should mention, too, the name Ralph comes into play as well with one of her defense mechanisms.
That's true. Even though this is considered a bird of prey, and they do eat dead animals, there are other animals that like to prey on them. So one of the things that they do is if they feel threatened or scared, they will vomit. So if you remember what I just told you she eats animals that are already dead, so you can imagine the quality of the food that she's already eating. Imagine that coming up the second time. Not many predators are going to want to eat an animal that just produced something like that.
See, we took the disgusting level up to 10, and you weren't satisfied enough, and you just had to go to like 20 with that. So.
Oh, there's another thing also that makes her, that we amp it up a little bit more on this turkey vulture. If you look at her feet are covered in scales. Birds have somewhat scaly feet. Well, when she gets too hot, either she's stressed or it's just too hot outside, she'll actually poop on her feet, and that cools her off. So how about that?
I got nothing. The most disgustingly but well-intentioned and for a reason animal I can think of. Ralph the turkey vulture. Thanks, Ralph. All right, now we've got Diego. Tell us about Diego, what kind of snake Diego is and where you can find him.
Diego is a common boa constrictor, and they're typically found in the rainforest areas of Central and South America. And right now he's about 6 to 6.5 foot long, but he's going to get quite a bit bigger by the time he's full grown. The average length of this snake when they're full grown is about 12 feet long. So he's going to get quite a bit longer, and he's also going to get quite a bit bigger round.
And as far as meals, you said constrictor, so obviously I'm sure it likes to find small to medium animals and wrap around and go to town.
That's correct. He's definitely not a venomous snake. We would not be bringing a venomous snake, and if so, we would not allow you to wrap him around your waist.
I would like that to be down on record, so in case you ever try to slip one by me, yes.
So yeah, what he does is after he catches his food, he'll wrap his body around the food item, the mouse or the rat or whatever small mammal it is, and he'll actually constrict it. Now, they'll continue to constrict it until they do not feel them take any more breaths, because as you take a breath, your chest gets bigger. So they can feel every time the chest gets bigger on their food item. And then they'll know to constrict a little bit tighter, and they just wait.
Wow.
Until they're no longer, and then they'll actually swallow their food whole. Snakes don't have teeth and jawbones that allow them to chew, so they need to swallow their food in one piece. And they can swallow something as big as the biggest part of their body.
So I'm okay.
You're okay.
Okay,
you're
good.
so good.
That's all I was
You don't have to worry about it.
Here, we'll show you kind of the quote-unquote wingspan. Oh, nope. Okay, we were, and then all of a sudden Diego was like, nope. All right, that is Diego, the constrictor. Say bye-bye, Diego. Okay, this is the last animal. Oh, man. Not a big fan. I can handle scary animals. I can handle many of the things that are brought in, but the tarantula today, not necessarily one of them. Noah, tell us a little bit about the tarantula. Yeah, you can go ahead and just talk. Okay. I won't be paying attention.
All right, this is Iranian. She's a Mexican red-knee tarantula, so she is found in the deserts of Mexico and also some in this very southern part of the U.S. She's actually kind of small for this species. She's rather young, so she'll get a little bit bigger.
Nope, fine size, yep.
The desert tarantulas here in Central America, South America, and also here in the U.S. have hairs that cover their abdomen, the back part of their abdomen.
Yep.
And they're called urticating hairs, and that's one of their lines of defense. Because they still do have predators, even though they are tarantulas and they are venomous. They do have venom in them. So what happens is if they get scared or threatened, they'll actually pick up their back legs and rub them on their abdomen and flick off all those little hairs up into the air. Well, each one of those teeny tiny hairs is tipped in a barb, kind of like a fish hook. So when they get into your skin, most people, it causes an allergic reaction in. So you start itching really, really badly.
Right.
And you get inflamed and things like that. So in the wild, that deters most predators. Now also, smaller animals, if they get those urticating hairs in their eyes, they could potentially go blind.
And the tarantula, like you were saying, likes its food liquefied.
That's true. Tarantulas and other spiders can only eat liquid food, and they're strictly carnivore, so they do eat other animals. Most of the animals they eat are insects, the smaller species. There's some larger species of tarantulas that can eat snakes, frogs, lizards, things like this. This tarantula species is big enough to eat like large crickets.
Wow.
So what they do is they'll bite it and inject their venom into the insect or the animal that they're eating, and their venom will help liquefy that insect, and then they'll just suck it into their mouth. Their mouth is very similar to a straw-like structure.
And being able to... And I think that's all the time we have for, sadly, for the tarantula. Thankfully, when we were on the air, the tarantula was doing the quick walking and running around the place, which is 100 times more freakier than what it's doing right now. So I don't think I'm going to press my luck. Be sure to check out B102-9.com for past Zoo Day videos and grab all the info on the zoo online at B102-9.com.